Good morning.
Good morning.
How's everybody? Dr. Cozart, thank you for being with us today.
Doing great. Hope you are.
Thank you. I guess we're waiting on Angela. Donald, how are you? Donald's. Donald, can you hear me? I think Donald's having it. Okay, he's on. Twanda's with us. Let me see where Angela is. Let me pause my recording. Exit full screen.
Good morning.
Good morning. There you are.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let me turn my record back on. I was just getting ready to. Let me see. Okay, I'm recording. We're back. Well, good morning, everybody. This is
Good morning.
welcome. This is the final defense for Angela Clayton. Angela, if you would like to formally introduce your guest today.
Yes, today we have with us Dr. Tony Cozart, who is director of Franklin Graham Advanced Smart Start, the agency that I'm partnering with. And I'm not sure if Ms. Hunt's on the program director, but I see Dr. Cozart.
Very good. Thank you.
Mrs. Hunt was not feeling well. She's hoping to join. She went by the doctor's office, so she sends her apologies for being late.
That'll be fine. We'll pray for her good health. Dr. Cozart, again, from Gardner Webb, thank you for all that you've done with Angela. Thank you from the DEOL program from partnering with Angela. I hope that it has been a mutually beneficial experience. And to that end, without any preamble, we're going to jump right in this morning. Angela, if you'll share your screen of your PowerPoint, we'll get started.
Okay, I'm trying to move this out of my way so I can press present. There we go. Good morning, everyone. My name is Angela Ruth Majors Clayton. I am a DEOL candidate. Today is November the 19th, 2021. And the title of my consultancy project is a mixed methods analysis of a nonprofit to identify program needs and recommend a plan of action. For the background, Franklin Graham Advanced Smart Start is a tri-county nonprofit. It's located in Henderson, North Carolina, and it serves the counties that's reflective in its name. Henderson has a population of about 15,000 people. There's a high poverty level in young adults and seniors. The educational attainment is a concern. It has above normal fertility rates of young adults, and Franklin Graham Advanced was established in 1997 with the mission to advance highly qualified accountable system of care and education for every child beginning from birth. It employs 20 employees, 2 of whom are administrators, and the agency works with other agencies to provide services for children. The purpose of this project was to partner with this nonprofit organization to practice in helping them achieve their vision and mission, and to assist them in hopefully determining their organization's needs and goals, and to offer my skill sets to use to help with this endeavor. There are 2 problems facing, I'm just gonna say FGV for short, Franklin Graham Advanced Smart Start, concerning the organization. One was concerning social factors, and the other was concerning environmental factors. With the social factors, basically it was just the age of the women who were giving birth, and again, the level of educational attainment. This would really impact the young children, and the other concerning environmental factors was the fact that they want to be more diverse in the population it served, being mostly now is African American, and also to diversify the staff. In the literature review, my theoretical framework was based on theories that I studied. I'm going to go into detail here. The first was the works of Bosch and Luhmann, who were for the really focused on social systems model, and it was based on 5 forms, dealing from small scale individual interactions to large scale social processes, and we're talking about benefits and cost, like an exchange system, collaboration, and the environment. And so I sprung from those 2 theories to Peter Senge, who was very instrumental in his work in the learning organizations. And he focused on 5 domains that I won't really get into right now in depth, but later on in the presentation, he focused on 5 domains of learning organizations. So I used those ideas and then interviews conducted of successful leaders, and I devised an 8-step process for leaders on how to influence the culture. And they are as follows. Number 1 is to assess the current culture. 2 is create a vision. 3, understand the history, because a lot of times you use the history to know where you're going in the future. Develop a communication plan, making sure that it's 2-way and not 1-way. Building relationships, because making connections with people is very important. Identifying strengths and weaknesses, and create a plan of action to determine the SMART goals. And these goals should be specific, measurable, and also attainable. So I was fortunate enough to be able to go to Dr. Kozart's office and have a brief conversation with him, where I asked him what were the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats facing his organization. And he told me the following, that the strengths were, they are able to help the daycare centers with their 5-star ratings. And that's very important. As a pre-K teacher, I went through that and got their service. And I really did well, helping me set up my classroom as a pre-kindergarten teacher. Outstanding connections and partnership with the community, as I just stated, with the school system and daycare centers. And they have a strong adolescent parenting program, partnering with the high school and other entities. The weakness, the struggle to get additional grant funds to expand the program. Smart Start has flat funding, very little opportunity to expand from state dollars. Child Find, just looking to find those children who are at risk, who may benefit from the program, and to access information among stakeholders and other agencies because of privacy issues and other reasons that they are not able to get that information. Opportunities were to partner with the local health department as well as dental offices for wellness of children, to improve literacy through partnering with, again, schools and other educational entities, and to work with the center itself with child care centers to improve highly qualified staff, to make sure they're knowledgeable about early childhood development and how to teach those early literacy and math skills. The threats would be the state of the economy and just the difficulty in funding, because the state's funds a lot of times are earmarked and are used for specific purposes. And that makes this nonprofit is very difficult to secure the funding that it needs. The quantitative data methodology. I was fortunate to get 3 years of data from Franklin Granville Vance, Smart Start, and I was able to use that Excel document specifically to use that to look at the SWOT analysis and to provide a plan of action based on those pieces of information. The qualitative data methodology used were focus groups where I tried to choose department heads to talk about things that were specifically related to their department. Online surveys, questionnaires, interviews, direct observation, going to the site, just observing and taking anecdotal notes, as they made me feel really welcome. The needs assessment was to establish a system for transition for students who are at risk. And this transition is really important as a link between the school and the child care centers. They want to increase the children's readiness level, readiness for reading, being able to know concepts about print, how to read, where to start reading, gathering this qualitative and quantitative data to address the SWOT analysis, just increasing community awareness, and knowing that because you want to reach those other diverse groups, to maybe look at redesigning your website to target these groups, assist with training of staff with the software that hopefully will be purchased for communication, and lastly, to form a committee for grant writing. So with my findings, there was a limitation on technology upgrades. Technology training and financial support is needed, and connectivity issues, as a lot of parts of Henderson and Granville and other counties that they're served, Franklin, Granville, and Vance, they are in isolated places, and their ability to get access to the internet sometimes is dire, and it's not in existence. And daycare affordability, with times of the COVID, people not having jobs, it's really difficult to afford daycare. And again, with the funding allocations from the state, prioritizing funding. The communication plan, I've looked at 6 areas, the strategies, activities, timeline, responsibilities, expected outcome, and a communications plan. For the strategies, I looked at 2 areas: communicating the urgency of using technology to not only the stakeholders, but also with members of the organization. And these activities can range from participating in Zoom, to share information, to visit daycare centers, to secure stakeholder information. These activities would be ongoing. Responsibilities will lie in the urgency of how well you've communicated your needs to the leadership, and the investigated of the needed software. What's the best software that's user-friendly, that that members of the organization would want to use. Expected outcome would be just buy-in from the members of the purchase software, and again, securing that funding for purchasing it. The communication plan would be a Zoom meeting or telephone conference or face-to-face meetings, and even visit the daycare centers and other stakeholders. Project objectives, project benefits, preliminary estimate of financial budget, and related assumptions. So the project objectives, I have three. To communicate technology needed via Zoom meeting, conference, face-to-face, to purchase software for the stakeholders for effective.
Hi, how you doing?
And train staff on the usage of software. And this project benefits would increase awareness and show the importance of interest in communicating with the stakeholders, increase potential customers based on having that potential outreach to get more people, and increase awareness and communication. And again, the estimated cost is nothing for the communication, maybe $200 a year for the software. And then training would be a cost unless sometimes vendors will not charge. It will be included in the software purchase, their support. The related assumptions would be staff monthly, just focus monthly staff meetings. The director, Dr. Kozak, to purchase the necessary software. And again, to make sure that the staff are trained in using the software. And recommendations for future practice, beginning of the year, just to share data with the stakeholders, to meet and brainstorm. One way of doing it is just to use, share ideas and use sticky notes, which we call light voting, to just prioritize the needs. The middle of the year, you can model those reading behaviors for parents. It's easy to tell parents, this is what you do with your children in reading, but it's even better to show them, to model those expectations on what they have to do specifically. Hold a daycare fair with agencies to provide education and wellness resources. That would be dental offices, again, hospitals, and doctor's office, and partner with school guidance counselors, because they have access to information that ordinary individuals don't. And they would really be able to assist in that child identifying the children who are needed to need this service. And at the end of the year, focus on creative expression and fine motor development. It's so important for children to understand the concept of themselves and their space in the world, to partner with local businesses to set up a literacy program, having books available, if not in the community, where it be the barbershops, the beauty salons, everywhere they go in the community, there should be books, literature for children. And hire a qualified educator to model research-based concepts about print and other literacy skills. There are huge turnover rates for teachers now, and we have a lot of substitute people in our systems. And it really would be nice to have someone who's qualified enough to model and to really go in and share, work one-on-one with these individuals and assist them in doing what they need to do to assist the children. So the action plan graphic organizer, put it all together. I looked at the specific activity, the timeline, persons responsible, resources needed, whether it be fiscal or human, formative and summative assessment methods, goals, and indicator of success. And the first one is to share data with stakeholders. That activity, the timeline will start at the beginning of the year. Responsible people will be the organization. And the Kindergarten Readiness Committee, there's a committee that's already, I know, available and waiting. Resources needed, that technology, that Zoom. Notes from meeting would be a nice formative assessment, and summative, a plus delta, to talk about next steps. The goal of increasing learning, the needs in the population served, and just to get stakeholder buy-in is the indicator of success. Specific activity, again, brainstorming at the beginning of the year, again, would be the team, the committee, and even daycare agencies could help. The resources with the technology, with the times of COVID, Technology, Zoom is still beneficial. Notes from the meeting as informative. And the summative assessment is the list of methods. The goal is just to have effective methods of assisting with child find and increasing the number of participants. And so with the special activity of modeling reading behaviors at the middle of the year, GAN staff and include parents with resources of in-service for parents, special programs. The assessments would be participation log and mid-course evaluation of parents and surveys. The goals would be to increase literacy knowledge in preschool children with the indicators of assess increased performance on the assessment. Activity to hold the daycare fair with agencies to be done in the middle of the year. Same people of interest with the FGV staff, but then include dentists, parents, health department, daycares to announce it on social media, use faith-based organizations and the community. The resources just use it, but have the participation log, summative assessments, and your formative assessment would be, again, I'm sorry, participation log would be assessments, your exit forms, and the goal is for child find and just wellness to go to increase the number of participants. The activity of partner with guidance counselors at the middle of the year. The director and school leaders would partner with that. The staff would identify the counselors and get that parent support with the having meeting agenda, with having to create a list for networking with the goal of increasing community with parents and increasing communication. The focus on creative expression at the end of the year with preschools and daycares, with money for materials, having observations, and partnering with businesses and literacy program to hire qualified staff to get the books and the necessary equipment that they need, as well as surveying parents, with the goal of increasing the literacy development of young children and increasing student engagement in reading. And these are my resources and references. Any questions? Dr. Lamb, I think you're muted.
Excellent presentation, Angela. I had to mute everybody. We were having some feedback. Excellent presentation. If you will stop your screen share now, I will share my screen and we'll work through our questions. Share my screen. Pull up. Here we go. All right, I hope everybody can see my screen. Again, excellent presentation. I think you've answered most of the questions on the top part here. You've addressed each of those. And so my question to you is, which of the courses that you had in the DEOL sequence impacted you the most and why?
Dr. Lamb, do I have to pick one or can it be two?
It can be two.
One would be the 7:30 course with Dr. Ball's Organization, Behavior, and Theory. To me, that set the precedent for all that we were learning. And it allowed everything to come together, especially the idea of learning organizations with Peter Senge. And just knowing that as a leader, those 5 domains that I just kind of briefly spoke about, having that shared vision, personal mastery, make sure I can get them all, mental models, team building, and system thinking. All of that is so important to, just share your goals and missions and make sure mission statement, make sure everybody's on board. Knowing that people may resist change and have fear and anxiety, and be able to understand that as a leader, not to just think it's just that they don't want to do it. The personal mastery of just nurturing your staff for continuous improvement and making sure, people are creative and can adapt to whatever environment you're trying to create. When I think of mental models, I just think trust in environments, being able to trust and not having assumption of people. Team building. Collaborating and listening to others. Just being reflective. And system thinking, influencing behavior, self-correcting, just being a good person. And then 732. Dr. Hamilton, I learned so much. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I learned so much about myself. My leadership strengths. That professional leadership development plan was very, very, made me aware that as a leader, you have to be self-aware, you have to be self-disciplined, and you have to really get that followership behind you and to celebrate accomplishments, no matter how small they are.
Okay. That's, as you know, the project in DEOL is really you. It's about you and developing your leadership. And I think you have expressed that eloquently this morning, and I thank you for that. And I know that having known you for, I guess, about 10 years now, through a couple different programs, I know that you understand servant leadership, Pro Deo et Humanitate, the motto for Gardner Webb, to serve God and humanity. I know that you are that servant leader. From the time that I've spent with you at there in Oak Hill, through the life of this program, we go back a long way. And so I know that you have exemplified that servant leadership, and that you have done more than just read it, you have lived it. And for that, I am appreciative. Thank you, Angela. Dr. Cozart, again, we can't thank you enough. The faculty and the administration of Gardner Webb University for partnering with Angela during her doctoral studies. We thank you for that and appreciate all the time and effort that you have put in as well. If you could share with us how Angela has impacted your organization.
I appreciate that. And I've been so thankful to be able to have her to do this work with us. It has really been a very practical outcome for us in terms of looking at what she was able to find with the survey that she did. Just another thought about Smart Start. We have to really be very intentional that we take every resource we have and try to make sure we direct it to things that'll make a difference. So what we were able to do with the work that Mrs. Clayton was doing in this project, we identified, and we do realize we have a serious connectivity problem with technology here in this county. We struggle to have opportunities for families to be connected with trainings virtually. So we were able to get 35 tablets, and we were able to strategically place those out. Unfortunately, like everything else, we didn't have enough, but we tried to put those out into the community so that parents who were in areas where we knew there was low connectivity, we were able to get those out and allow those parents to participate. Another thing that we were able to do, we looked at the data, and we saw that the whole need for fine motor and some other things that were included. We were able to purchase bags, instructional bags that we could give out to homes in our communities. And in those, we were looking hard to find things that would impact the social and emotional. We realized that in talking with Mrs. Clayton and some of our outreach people, we realized that this is a need. So some of the activity materials that we had a focus in that area. Another thing that we've been able to do, and it will be an ongoing project, we have a lending library in our facility for the centers we serve and the parents in our community. We will take the data that we have from this project and all of her studies, and we will try to make sure that we stock our lending library with the kind of resources that would address the challenges our families are having. And also, we're right in the midst of our strategic plan. We have to renew our plan in 2024, but we always take a mid-term look, and we're right now right in the middle of that 5-year plan. So this work really gives us some hard data to look at and say, what do we need to be doing different right here in the midst of our strategic plan? So for that, I'm thankful to Mrs. Clayton, because I don't have to do some of the work. She has provided some of that for us to look at.
Right.
And the last thing that we'll try to do, we understand that in an area of high poverty, we need to look at the total needs of our children. So we have just recently been able to employ a health coordinator. This person will focus on child health issues. And what we will try to do with her is not only look at the physical, but look at those things we need to be doing for our children in the social, emotional area. So actually her employment really coincides very well with this work, because now we have some things that we can sit down with her to talk about. And we will be planning community events where we can bring parents and children together. We do have a small budget with that particular effort. So we're very encouraged, and we're thankful that we didn't have to do all of this work, but we are the beneficiaries of the work. So we are very grateful. And Mrs. Clayton has been very flexible. She's been good to work with. As all of you know, we had to limit even our own staff with the access that we were traditionally used to having with going out to support. So she's been creative in trying to do that. And it has enhanced our understanding and our need that we need to continue to work with all of our providers and our parents to help them have the kind of connections in their homes to be able to make sure they are very efficient in using Zoom, and that they don't have any fear of getting involved in and expanding all of their connections so they can be a part through technology. So it has, to be honest, it's been a very, very practical, and she's made it easy, but it has given us some real data to work with and some focus areas that we maybe had not thought about that we need to make sure we include going forward.
That's excellent. That couldn't be a better answer. Thank you, Dr. Cozart. My question to you this morning then, and I think I know the answer, is there's any reason why Gardner-Webb University should not confer the doctoral degree on Angela Clayton?
No, sir, I don't know of any at all.
Thank you. Well, Angela, to whom much is given, much is required. As we say in the DEOL program, you need to remember to have a mind for learning and a heart for serving, and I always bless you and your family and remember them in all that you do. The charge is you'll be the only Gardner-Webb that some people will ever encounter. You have a duty, a responsibility to be an authority and an ambassador, to always work from data and disciplined inquiry, and always be sure to tell what you know rather than what you think. You are a professional now, and so I will welcome to the world Dr. Angela Clayton. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I will stop my share and I will open up the screen. I see we have some people who have joined us this morning. If we have anybody who would like to pass along any words to Angela, this is your opportunity. Just unmute yourself.
Well, if I may just say, I'm sorry, go right ahead.
I was just going to say congratulations to you, Angela. We have known each other when you started in NCAE as one of my mentees, and then seeing Dr. Lamb's referral for you to the program was a great gift and joy to be able to work with you and grow with you over the past few years. So I appreciate you. Congratulations. Welcome to the family.
Congratulations, Angela.
Thanks, Kim. Hi, Jackie. Well, Jackie. See her.
Jackie's on the phone. Dr. Kozart.
Let me just say to you again, my good friend, and it seems like we've known each other a long time. Let me just let you know that the window of opportunity to continue to come back and to be a part of the work we do will always be there. And in fact, we would cherish that, would appreciate any opportunities we have to continue to work going forward.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Hamilton, if you want to close us out before our prayer this morning. Dr. Hamilton is our program chair.
Absolutely. Angela, congratulations. So proud of you and the work that you've done. I know well, as many of you have, the struggles that you have to overcome and the sacrifices you have to make when you decide to pursue a doctoral study or any kind of study, but particularly doctoral. And so gratified that you were able to meet your goals in this significant achievement. And it is significant. And I just remind you that you always will be a member of the DEOL program now as an alumni. So I hope you will, Dr. Lamb will send out a link that you can put your contact information, that it only goes to me, that doesn't go to anybody else. But it will ask you if you are willing and would like to be in future, come back and speak to a class, come to our OLL in the summer as an alumni, or participate in a interest session like we have coming up tomorrow. We've got some alumni coming back, and it just keeps you connected. We want you to stay connected with us because you will be a great ambassador for the program, and you can encourage others who think that maybe this is a road too steep or too rough, and you can speak the obstacles that you were able to overcome. So congratulations. So very proud of you and glad to have you as a member of the DEOL alumni family.
Thank you, Dr. Hamilton. For all of you on the screen who finished this time, and I see there are 4 of you, I've already sent the link. Please check your email, that link for your information so that we can track you. You know, we're always here. You can call or email anytime. We can Zoom or do whatever you need to do. And so to close our morning out here, I will read our prayer for the week. This is the last time I'll read the prayer this week for those of you who've heard it each time, but it follows our motto here at Gardner Webb, Pro Deo et Humanitate, for God and humanity. So if you'll pray with me, our prayer this morning is from St. Teresa of Avila, and it's, let me serve you. Pray with me. Govern everything by your wisdom, O Lord, so that my soul may always be serving you in the way that you will and not as I choose. Let me die to myself so that I may serve you. Let me live to you who are life itself. Amen. All right, so that concludes our group for the fall semester with this cohort. I appreciate all of you who are with us today. I appreciate all of the great work that you've done, the progress that you've made. We've grown. We are better people. It's been a blessing to know each and every one of you. Don't be a stranger. Make sure we have your information. When we call on you, don't ghost us, because we'll be calling on you now. So make sure that you answer our calls or emails, and we'll answer yours. All right, everybody have a good day. Have a good holiday. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.